I'll tell you right now. I've lived through some wild storms in Oklahoma, but nothing ever shook me like the night those tornado sirens started screaming and I saw three small calves huddled up against the busted barn next door, shivering in the rain like the sky itself was out to get him. I remember just standing there by the kitchen window, my wife Maria hollering at me to stay inside, but I couldn't. I just couldn't watch those babies die out there, not if I could help it. I pulled on my old work coat, grabbed a crowbar and a length of rope, and trudged through the mud, my boots filling with water, lightning splitting the sky in a way that almost made me turn back. But you know how it is. You see something that needs doing. You do it. That's how I was raised. Those calves were trapped under a twisted mess of metal roofing, two black Angus and one brown Jersey mix, their eyes wide with terror, their cries carrying over the wind and making me feel about 100 years old. "Easy, little ones," I called out, trying to sound braver than I felt. "Uncle Tony's here to get you out." The biggest one, later I'd call him Bruce, lifted his head, stared at me like he couldn't quite believe a human was actually coming to help, and that was all I needed. I wedged the crowbar under the metal, praying the wind wouldn't catch it and turn it into a flying blade. "Come on, you piece of junk," I muttered, straining with everything I had. These babies didn't survive a tornado just to die 'cause I can't lift some metal. The second calf, smaller than Bruce and with a white patch smack in the middle of his head, Jason, I'd call him, started kicking a little, making enough space for me to slip a hand in and grab his collar. But the last one, Sylvester, the smallest, well, I was worried he wasn't going to make it. He wasn't moving much, his breathing all shallow, a nasty cut on his leg from the metal. "Hang on, little guy," I whispered. "I've got you. All three of you are coming home with me tonight." Took the better part of an hour, with the wind whipping around and Maria shouting for me to come back inside, but I got them out, one by one. Bruce came first, stumbling on shaky legs, heading straight for me like he knew I was his best bet. Jason followed, face muddy but eyes shining. Sylvester, I had to carry, just a little scrap of a thing, but he looked up at me like I was the only person in the world who mattered right then. The walk back was a mess, me, half-soaked, calves slipping and sliding behind, but I swear, something happened in that walk. Those calves stuck to me, pressed up against my legs, trusting me in a way I hadn't felt in a long, long time. Maria had the old calf pen ready, warm and dry, fresh hay, clean water, the whole works, 42 years together, and she knew when not to argue. She just took one look and said, "We're going to need the vet and more milk replacer." That's love, you know. By the next morning, the world looked new, sky washed clean, the storm a memory except for the mud and debris scattered everywhere. The calves, Bruce, Jason, Sylvester, stood at the gate waiting for me, like they'd already figured out the routine. Dr. Peterson said they were lucky, minor injuries, about 6 months old, probably tossed from a nearby farm in the tornado. But what struck me was how they lined up, Bruce out front, Jason keeping watch, Sylvester tucked behind. They'd figured out their little family formation overnight, and somehow, I'd become part of it. Let me tell you, you think you're rescuing someone and then realize you're the one being saved. Maria saw it before I did. I'd been drifting since the kids moved out and retirement set in, feeling older than dirt. But those calves, well, they gave me a reason to get up early, to fuss over feed and water, to just be present. "You're planning to keep them, aren't you?" Maria asked one morning, coffee in hand, eyebrow raised. I just shrugged. "Doc says we can find their owner, maybe sell them, but after what we've been through, I don't think I could split them up or let them go." She nodded. She knew. Every afternoon, I'd find myself in that pen, sitting on an upturned bucket, watching them. Bruce would step between me and anything new, head up, all business, but gentle as a lamb if I scratched behind his ears. Jason, curious as a cat, poking around, checking out new buckets, sniffing at my boots. Sylvester, he just knew when I needed a little comfort. Sometimes I'd talk to him, spill my worries like he was an old friend, and he'd nuzzle my hand like he understood every word. My neighbor Pete, who's seen me at my worst and best over 30 years, stopped by and shook his head. "Tony, they're not pets. They'll be full-grown bulls soon. You can't keep him in that little pen." I grinned, watching them play with a soccer ball Marie had brought out. "I've got land, Pete. I've got time. We'll figure it out. And, something changed in me. I started feeling young again. Well, younger anyway. Fixing up the pasture, building new shelters, learning how to handle 3 growing bulls who acted less like livestock and more like, family. They'd greet me every morning, follow me around the pasture, even get this, work together to keep each other out of trouble. Dr. Peterson couldn't believe it. I've never seen bulls behave like this, he said during one visit. How do you walk among them with no fear? I just smiled. It's respect. They know I care. They know I'm family. But it went both ways. One afternoon, checking the fence after a storm, I tripped, twisted my ankle, knocked myself silly on a post. Next thing I knew, Bruce was standing guard, Jason bellowing toward the house, Sylvester pressing up next to me, warm and steady. Maria came running, and those bulls didn't move an inch until she'd gotten me up and walking. Then they followed us all the way home. I tell you, I've had plenty of friends, but never 3 who weighed half a ton each and worried more about me than I did. The local folks used to think I was nuts. Now they come by just to see the bull trio and the old man who somehow became part of their herd. Even when I ended up in the hospital after a heart scare, those boys waited by the fence, barely eating, holding vigil like soldiers. When I finally came home, they were gentle as could be. Bruce let me scratch him without having to reach. Jason leaned in so I could rest. Sylvester just stood close, eyes soft with worry. After that, they never left my side. If I was slow, they walked slower. If I had to rest, they'd make a circle around me, standing guard like it was their job. Maria said, they're better caregivers than the nurse, and she was right. We became a team on me, 3 bulls, and a bond nobody could explain. I started worrying about the future, though. I'm not getting any younger. So I set up a trust fund, for the bulls, so they'd always be cared for, no matter what happened to me. They'd given me their best years. I owed them that much. And they seemed to know it. Every night, they'd come to the fence, nuzzle my hand, look at me like they were saying, "We got you, old man." 8 years passed since that stormy night. I was 76, not as steady on my feet, thinking maybe it was time to slow down for good. The bulls, they stuck closer than ever, watching me, adjusting to my pace, moving water troughs, even rolling a big stone over so I'd have a place to sit. On my 77th birthday, Maria helped them wear flower garlands. I cried, couldn't help it, but the best moment, Bruce, Jason, and Sylvester all circled me, pressing close, lowering their massive heads. And for a long time, we just sat together, me and my boys, no words, just that feeling, the kind you only get a few times in your life, if you're lucky, that you're exactly where you're meant to be, with exactly who you're meant to be with. Yeah. I saved those calves from a tornado. But what nobody tells you is sometimes, the ones you rescue end up saving you right back, giving you family, purpose, and love you didn't know you were missing. Now, let me ask, have you ever experienced a bond with an animal that changed your life? Do you think animals know when we need them most? Or is it all just luck and timing? I'd love to hear your story, because sometimes the greatest gifts come from the most unexpected storms, don't you think?